welcome back to Publishing Power Play. I'm your host today, Jana Short. I am the editor-in-chief of Best Holistic Life magazine, and I created this YouTube so that you could learn how to get published, be seen on TV, like how do you put your best foot forward. So I'm giving you some secret tips behind the scene on what we look for. We're bringing on experts that work with models, other magazine publishers, so that you can start giving covers. There's like a lot that goes on here. But today, we're talking about the fundamental aspect of personal and professional growth and understanding your identity and how important that is. So when I was first building my platform, I remember thinking that one of the persons I love was Gabby Bernstein. And I wanted to be that Gabby Bernstein kind of energy, but I'm not. I don't know if any of you have ever listened to Gabby Bernstein, but she is very slow talking, emotionally connecting. And I am a very fast, energetic person that is not going to get slowed down. So for me to step into her space wasn't authentic to me, and it would come off as not authentic to other people. Here's the thing. You are kind of amazing exactly as you are. You do not need to emulate somebody else who's already done it. There's always space for you in that space. So show up authentically. It's super important to build trust and rapport. I'm going to talk a little bit today about the power of self-reflection. It's super important for us to know who we are. If we don't know who we are, who we're pitching to, or who we're putting ourselves forward in the messaging, they're not going to know who we are or what we stand for. So sit down and do some self-reflecting. Why am I doing this? I will tell you, most people quit their goals because they don't have a big enough why. And for me, I'm going to share a little story that I was going to save later for this episode. So I'm just going to skip down to that one that we wanted to talk about, embracing your authenticity. I have a lot of things that are different about me that people would look at me today and not really understand that that could be me. But they are. I went through the same journey you guys are going through. And my very first painful part of my journey, which was the joy of my life, but it started when I got pregnant at 16. And I had a baby at 17. And I chose to be the mom to that baby and raise her. I am super excited to say that she is now a doctor of natural medicine with her PhD and crushing it. So yay, mama. But it took a village, by the way, to get it there. But that is part of my story. And I don't want to hide that. Another part of my story that people don't know about me is that I had to have a double mastectomy and a hysterectomy because of the BRCA gene and breast cancer. So that's part of my story, part of my journey of who built me. So one was when I was pregnant. By the way, that isn't something you talked about. It was shameful. Your parents hid you. And so you hide what should be a joyous moment of having this beautiful being in the world. It was something that was hidden. And I look back on it now and I realize that I should just embrace everything, even the icky bad stuff. So when you're doing some self-searching and you're thinking about your true authentic self, bring all that to the table. Bring it all. You make a mistake, bring it, because no one relates to perfect. We know we're not going to be perfect. No one relates to perfect. And if you are perfect, let's just say you are the perfect person, you're it, that person, you're the perfect person, we're not going to like you because we know what it would take for us to try to achieve perfection. So we're going to be resentful. Be human. Live in your mistakes. When I say live in them, I mean live with them. Use them as part of your story, who you are. Be authentic. Bring it to the table. Bring it to the table. The first time I told somebody I was a mom at 17 and pregnant at 16, I was making a joke because it was prom. And they're like, do you remember your prom? I'm like, oh, I didn't go to prom. I couldn't get a babysitter. And they laughed, like, what are you talking about? I'm like, yeah, my oldest daughter, I had her when I was 17 years old. And I didn't go to prom. As a matter of fact, I had to go to college, pay my tuition on my own, by the way, with the baby on my hip and try to get through classes and do my thing. But you know what? I did it. So you can do it too. If I can do it, anyone can do it. So I'm talking about bringing that as well as the struggle. Maybe You failed at a course you took. Yeah, I couldn't do that because I failed twice. I'm going to tell you a little secret about failing. I just was talking to my husband about this on a walk the other day because a little boy fell off his bike and we're like, oh, you okay, get up. And he was just learning to ride a bike. I'm like, we all failed at walking. None of us got up and just started zooming around. And what did our parents do? Oh my gosh, great job. You almost did it. We're so proud of you. And they encouraged you through your failure to get where you want to go. They encourage your falling. Let's encourage that again. Let's encourage those failures. Yay, we got it. Are any of us not able to walk? No, we're all walking. I mean, those of us who have the capacity to do so, but we learned how to walk, and they celebrated our falls and our failures and our attempts and kept celebrating them until we got really good at it. And now we don't even think about it. Same with riding a bike, driving a car, all those things we had to learn. And I guarantee you weren't perfect at it the minute you started. Don't give up on yourself when you're going through that, doing that. Embrace your authenticity and get that all pulled together in this beautiful package. Celebrate those failures. But here's another key tip: your identity and goal alignment. So if my goal is to be the president of the United States, and my thing is something completely different, those don't align. And so what I want you to do is figure out, do your goals align with who you identify as? So let's just say I identify as a writer. I'm not a writer. I don't know how to write. I identify as all of these things, and that's not who I am. Your goal and identity need to line up. So if your goal is to be the best fitness coach in the world, and you are a fitness coach and you identify as a fitness coach, you've been trained as a fitness coach, all you do is talk and share fitness coach, perfect alignment, right? You wouldn't go into the mental health business afterwards. And so what I want you to do is figure out what your identity is. This is super simple to do. It takes a little while. By the way, your identity changes, right? And your goals change. So I started this whole process with writing a book, and I'm not an author, but I became an author. And then I went back to school in my 50s, you guys. I'm in my 60s now. I went back to school in my 50s so that I could be a trained educator in what I wanted to do, and that I could be licensed to do that. So I went back to school, got that taken care of, and then I started doing coaching. And then from the coaching, I became, so you identify differently as you grow, which is amazing. Nobody wants to be the same thing all their life. As kids, we worked at McDonald's, and as adults and after college or whatever our careers are and having families, we moved on to something better. So do you identify as a McDonald's employee anymore? But no, it is part of your beautiful story though, right? I remember when I was making 50 cents at McDonald's. So I want you guys to start combining your identity with those goals and make sure they're in alignment. This is super important for us as publicists, producers, for us to reach out to you and understand we recognize you. We see that you're very clear on your identity and your goals are in alignment, and we can help you get there. But if you come to someone like me and you're like, I identify as this, but no, I haven't gone to school, but I'm thinking about it. And I haven't done this yet, but my goal is to make millions of dollars doing this or serve millions of people doing this. They don't align yet. And so for me to help you, it would be very hard. It'd be like putting the cart before the horse, right? I'd be pushing you, trying to get you up that hill. But if you know what it is, it's so easy for me to say, hey, hook on to our train. We're going that way anyways. And come on, let's go. So it's super important for you to get those together when you're approaching people that are in publishing, podcasting, and you're trying to up your game and get that exposure. Here's the other thing, success stories. Remember your success stories. And a success story, for you to have a success story, you have to have a failure story or just a starting story. I started. It took me years to do this, and I finally did it, and here I am. I talked about her in an earlier episode. I have a client. She's on the March cover. Her name is Jen Drummond. She just peaked the 7-second summits, the first woman in the world to peak the 7-second summits. And it all came from something her son said to her. And she had a goal, that she was in alignment to do because of what she does, and she accomplished it. But did she accomplish it without any hiccups? Heck no. As a matter of fact, I think 2 of those mountains she had to go back and redo because she couldn't get to the top. And it wasn't necessarily her. Sometimes it's weather that sends you back and packing and says, not today. We're not doing this today. And you have to come back out another time and try it again. But she didn't give up. She had a goal. It was in alignment with what she did, and she identified with it. And it was super easy for her to see that goal through. The last thing I want to leave you with, I'm going to make this one pretty short, is your why. When you're creating your identity, your goal, where you are as far as a leader, and you're doing that self-reflection, what is your why? And I heard why like all the time from motivational speakers. You have to have a why. Get a board, put that why up there. Have a board that you're looking at. I understand the board because I would 100% tell you to do a board. Subconsciously, your brain is picking up it every single time you walk by it. It's seeing that board. It's seeing that board. And your map is absorbing where it's going. And it starts making this beautiful plan for you. It starts leading you directly to that. So boards are super important. But if my why isn't big enough, my why is to buy a new outfit, my why is to go to dinner at a really incredible place, that isn't big enough. It's just not big enough to get you through the falls. It's not big enough to get you through the setbacks. It's not big enough to keep you moving forward to get there. You have to have a big why. It has to be a part of your essence. So someone who had breast cancer, for instance, breast cancer survivors are really powerful speakers about breast cancer surviving. They want to pass it on to the next generation, get early detection is important, get the word out, let's find a cure, because they've experienced it was part of their essence. And maybe they have a daughter and it could be hereditary, and they're figuring out, this is a big why for me. My daughter will never go through this. She will be so educated on this. And so your why has to be something really big. For me, my why was being ill and being scared. Actually, I can't ever remember being more terrified to have someone say you have not very long to live. 11 years ago, I was told that. And having my daughter bring my beautiful grandson, that daughter I had when I was 17, bring my beautiful grandson to me to see. I was at his birth, and 3 months later, I was dying, and I didn't know what was happening. And it's like being given the death sentence, and having guards surrounding you, and you can't get out. You can't get out. There's no way to get away from this sentence. And all I wanted to do is create a memory with him. Like I remember holding him thinking, I remember my grandmother, the way she smelled. I remember how she laughed. And my grandmother was a big lady. And I remember when I would hug her, she was soft and she smelled like my grandma. And it was amazing. And I'm like, he is 3 months old. He will not have one memory of me. How do I leave one memory with this beautiful grandson of mine? He was our 5th grandson, by the way. The others were old enough for us to know that, for me to know that they would have a memory. And I went on this quest to make a memory with him 6, 7, 11. It was 11 years ago. 11 years ago. How do I make a memory with him? Life, when you leave, I was not laying on my deathbed, just to give you a heads up, wishing I had a Bentley in the driveway, or more Louis Vuittons in my closet, or a 3rd or 4th Hermes bag. None of that was important. I wasn't taking it with me, but I was dying inside because I did not have a memory to leave with my grandson. So what I think of as wealth now, and what I think of as success now, is the relationships I leave with others, the connection I have, the way I make them feel when they're around me. Am I screaming? Am I yelling? Am I judgmental? You know what? Yeah, I am all of those things a little bit. I'm not perfect, but I also am the opposite of those in a bigger way. I'm loving. I incorporate like memories in everything I do with my family, my connections, my friends, my clients. I am a memory maker. That is my why. leaving hope for others. I don't want anyone to feel that desperate. I want anyone to ever feel there is absolutely no hope for them, because here I am 11 years later, living in the exact same diagnosis and creating a platform of 1.3 million subscribers to boost other people who want to be seen and heard, who want to get out and touch the world, who their whys are so big that if I said no, they're just going to do it anyway. I'm not stopping them. They're going to do it with someone else. That's who I want you to be. I want you to fall and remember your parents and get up. You did it. I want you to have failures. And if you want to be big, you got to have some pretty big failures. I want you to get out there and fail like crazy. Get up, brush yourself up, celebrate what you learned from that moment, that setback. Grab onto that why and go. So when you're doing the self-reflection, it's going to bubble up in you. And then when you feel that fire in your belly, you will know. And when you get there, let me know. I want to help you. So thank you guys. I'm Jana Short. I'm the editor-in-chief of Best Holistic Life magazine. You can get a copy on Amazon, or you can go to our app and get a digital copy there. I highly recommend you do. We have some pretty amazing people coming up in it. And you also get all of our past issues, so you can connect with anyone that's ever been in it. Thank you again for letting me come here and do this. I hope you enjoy this series. I hope you leave comments. I hope you let us know how we can help you get published, get seen as that expert that you are, get booked on television, wherever the spaces that you want to be, we want to help you get there. And if I can't do it, by the way, I can't do it all, but if I can't, I definitely have built those relationships and I want to help you. So thank you guys for listening. Have a wonderful day. And I look forward to our next couple of recordings. I know we have some amazing guests that are going to be popping on, so you're going to love listening to them as well.